I'm Ray Ragarajan, practicing community. Today talks about private placements. Under the private placement defines under the Companies Act 2013, Section 42 and Rule 14 of the rules. What is a private placement? Private placement shall be made only to a select group of persons who have been identified by the board. It's nothing but that who are willing to give that subscribe the shares to the company in the private placements. Well, now some of the threshold, some of the conditions for the private placement we are going to discuss. In a year, how many persons we can invite the invitation to offer for the private placements. This is clearly defined in as per subsection 2, read of the rule 14(2)(b) of the Companies Act. The company can make such offer or invitation to not more than 200 persons in the aggregate in a financial year. 200 persons is the threshold limit. This threshold limit is applicable to each securities. Each securities means if the company is providing the equity shares, or the company is providing the debentures, or if the company is providing the preference shares, each securities have got 200%. 200%, it can invite the 200 persons. So now coming again to the private placement means, what is the private placement? The explanation one of the private placement, section 42, explanation one, we are going to discuss about the private placement. Private placement means any offer or invitation to subscribe or issue of securities to a select group of persons by a company other than by way of public offer through the private placement come application which is satisfy the conditions specified in these sections. There are a lot of conditions are prescribed in these sections. So such a condition like that, we have to follow the rules and regulations which is satisfies the private placements. Is basically a it offers to select group of persons of a company. So identify persons. It is we are going to discuss the identify person in the coming slides. Next, explanation 2. The qualified institutional buyer means the qualified institutional buyer as defined in the Securities Exchange Board of India, issue of capital and disclosure requirements regulation 2009 as amended from time to time, made under the Securities Exchange Board of India Act 1992. So we have to see that who are the qualified institutional buyers. They are large, sophisticated institutional investors such as mutual funds, banks, and insurance companies. They are treated as a qualified institutional investors, institutional buyers. Explanation 3 of the section 42. When the number of persons to whom the offer is made exceeds the prescribed number, it will be treated as an offer to the public and is accordingly governed by the provisions of part 1 of these chapters. Suppose when the company has made an offer to more than 200 persons in a financial year for the equity shares, then it will be treated as a public offer. So then they have to comply all the public offer listing agreement as per that SEBI provisions, everything they have to comply. So it is better the company has to keep under the 200% limit only. 200% offer to the things. So while calculating the 200%, the following are exempted from the threshold limit. Who are those? QIB, qualified institutional buyers, employees of the company being offered securities and a scheme of employee stock option in terms of provisions of Class B of subsection 1 of section 62 in a financial year. They are not in coming under the private placement offer to be excluded. If suppose a company has offered to the 50 to 60% of the QIB, that is not to be treated as a private investment, not coming under the within the threshold limit of 200. This means So the company making that private placements shall issue a private placement offer and application in such a form and manner as may be prescribed to the identity persons whose names and addresses are recorded by the company in such a manner as may be prescribed. So we need to elaborately discuss the private placement application. Before making the offer, the company has to prepare a valuation certificate for the making the offer. Valuation certificate to be given by the certified valuer as per the valuer by the IBC and qualified and passed the examination of the valuer examinations. So here another point. Once the persons are identified, there is no renunciation is not possible. They are supposed to subscribe the shares. The private placement offer and application shall not carry any right of renunciation. The means you cannot renounce that your rights and other things. Unlike the rights issue, it is not possible in the private placements. So now coming again that identify persons. Every identify persons willing to subscribe to the private investment issue shall apply to the private investment and application issued to such person subscription money paid either by check or demand draft or other banking channel and not by cash. Here is the here the company not supposed to collect the cash or either by a check or demand draft or other banking channel. It has to accept all the amount subscription money. So again, coming to that utilization of the private placement funds. Proviso to subsection 4 of the section 42 provided that the company shall not utilize the monies raised through the private placements unless the allotment is made and the returns of allotment is filed with the registrar of companies registrar in accordance with the subsection 8. So here, once the application money received by the company, they has to comply the allotment and file the necessary form with the registrar. In the absence is it is a violation under the Companies Act 2013. Unless right issue can even once after issuing the amount deposit the amount to the company, company can even before the allotment they can spend the money. But here not in the case because they have to complete all the private investments, identify they have to receive all the identity persons and also conduct the board meeting. Then they have to allot the shares and file the form. Then only they are able to utilize the funds. Now coming to we have to see that allotment of securities. Company making any allotment of securities under the section shall file with the registrar a return of allotment within 15 days from the date of the allotment in such a manner as being prescribed, including a complete list of allottees to the full name, address, number of securities allotted, and such other relevant information as being prescribed. So this the complete list they have to provide. All allotted with the full name, address, number of securities allotted, whether it is a par value or premium, all other things are to be mentioned. And such other relevant information as may be prescribed means they have to include that occupation also, in addition to the above details. So the complete list of allotment of securities, the list has to be attached along with the board resolution and to be filed with the registrar of companies. So this is my first part. We are going to talk about the next about the in detail about the private funds. Thank you.